Coming up on Look Today, well, we've got continuing coverage of the resolution that bans Log Bay Day in Lake George. I've got details. Plus, Dr. David Starbuck leads his annual expedition, SUNY Adirondack students. And this year, they're on Rogers Island in Fort Edward. More on that coming up. And Veterans Aid Symposium takes place at the Summit at Saratoga. I've got those details. All ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone. I'm Jay Hood Jackson and this is Look Today. On tonight's program, I sit down with Claudia Bramer. She's Warren County Supervisor for Glens Falls Ward 3. She's here to talk about the Remember Charlotte campaign and the Responsible Boating Initiative. Plus, I also sit down with Kenneth Garcia. Now, he's a candidate for councilman for the town of Wilton, and he's here to talk about his background and reasons for running. Plus, we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties, but first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, we've got continuing coverage of the Log Bay Day resolution passed in Lake George. Now, the annual Log Bay Day is now officially banned. Well, a discussion led by the chairman of the Lake George Park Commission presented the resolution. Now, the discussion also focused on the negative effects this unorganized event has had in our community. We spoke to Bruce Young. He's chairman of the commission.
I don't want to experience another thing like I experienced last year, listening to grandparents explain why we hadn't done more to prevent irresponsible operation of a motor vehicle. And I think this is a major step in stopping it. Along with our, I don't know if you're aware of it, but we've increased our BWI patrols on the weekends in full cooperation with the sheriff.
Well, they're taking it seriously. Now, the impacts of Log Bay Day have included disorderly, dangerous contact, property damage, and pollution. The Lake George Park Commission, along with the DEC, Warren County DA's office, and local police officials, are now working together on increased patrols on the lake. And this year's date for Log Bay Day, by the way, would have been next Monday. Now, instead, they've closed the area for scuba diving training. We spoke to Dave Wick. He's Executive Director of the Park Commission.
So, that just shows the support that we've had, not from only our commissioners, but we have resolutions of support from Warren County Board of Supervisors, from Washington County Board of Supervisors, from local towns around the lake. No shortage of personal letters and emails to me saying this is long overdue, and they're happy it's happening.
Now. Wow. Okay, in other news, well, Dr. David Starbuck, a renowned archaeologist, is leading his class, SUNY Adirondack students and volunteers for this year's annual archaeological dig. Now, this year's expedition is taking place on Rogers Island in Fort Edward. Now, because Rogers Island is now mostly owned by the village and the town, this has made the expedition a lot easier for Dr. Starbuck and his crew. Well, we spoke to Dr. Starbuck about the support of SUNY Adirondack.
We've been very fortunate that SUNY Adirondack has sponsored local archaeology since 1991. Imagine a local college for 27 years supporting research in the community. Some summers it's been here in Fort Edward, some summers it's been in Lake George, but for 27 years SUNY Adirondack has gotten right out here in the community to sponsor archaeological research.
Yeah, think about the rich history in our area. All right, switching from news to weather. Today saw warmer temperatures in the 80s. Let's see how the rest of the week is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, we're going to head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponser with your first look weather forecast. Right now, we have high pressure over the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to bring some tranquil weather, maybe a few pop-up storms, especially towards places like Alabama and Georgia. Parts of Florida, we'll see a warm front boundary make its way through the mid-south and into the mid-Atlantic. We have a low-pressure system over the central plains. It's going to make its way southward. It's going to bring some much-needed heat relief to portions of the southern plains, as well as portions of the Midwest, with a cold front boundary bringing some scattered strong to severe storms, damaging winds and hail, the primary threats. But we're looking at beautiful weather here in upstate New York, with high pressure dominating much of the Northeast tonight, as temperatures region-wide will be mainly in the mid-60s, 65 in Albany, 64 Burlington, Vermont. We'll see more locally, about 66 in Greenwich, 65 Whitehall. Towards Glens Falls, we'll see an overnight low of 66 degrees. So a beautiful, mild night, not as cool as we've seen over the last few days. We'll see scattered storms, though, with increasing clouds. And then for our day on Thursday, well, unfortunately, we couldn't see more scattered storms. And the out-the-door forecast, just despite the mild start, we'll still see some scattered storms. But we dry out with a little bit more high pressure coming in from Canada. Temperatures will be in the mid-70s, then upper 70s, then lower 80s for the next 4 days. And then we'll see low temperatures drop a hair to 61 for Friday morning, 57 Saturday morning, 53 Sunday morning, and 58 on Monday morning. So basically a kind of relief for those who don't like the hot and humid weather. Well, you get a treat, especially this weekend. Enjoy it while it lasts, because it could heat up sometimes, and we could get those August heat waves here in upstate New York. So that's the look at the first look weather forecast. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponser. Now I'll send it back to you, Jesse.
Well, thanks a lot, Clarence. Hey, you probably noticed that weather forecast is starting to change, and it's in favor of sunshine. Back to the news. Here's an important story. Representatives of the New York State Division of Veterans Affairs were at the summit at Saratoga. Mark Solohub, now he's Veterans Benefit Advisor, discussed the income-based program that extends to veterans or their spouses and widows who are unable to take care of themselves. Now, to qualify for this assistance, a person must have served in the military for 90 days at least, and at least 1 day during wartime. Now, we were at the presentation where we spoke to Mark.
The simple fact is that as folks get further away from service, they perhaps get further away from information about benefits that they've earned, and we need to definitely do a better job of helping each other out as well as those in our community. So I don't think that anybody knows everything about veterans benefits, not even us, and it's our job. So we always need to keep learning and keep sharing.
Wow. Okay, up next, I sit down with Claudia Bramer. She's Warren County Supervisor, Glens Falls, Ward 3. She's here to talk about the Remember Charlotte campaign and the Responsible Boating Initiative. Plus, I also sit down with Kenneth Garcia. Now, he's a candidate for councilman, town of Wilton, and he's running on the Democrat ticket. He's here to talk about his background and reasons for running. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Then give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. I've got a couple of lookouts for tonight. First, I just want to mention again all the organizations and people that are involved with the Remember Charlotte Boat Safety Campaign. It's really quite an initiative, and I talked to a lot of people about this campaign, and everyone really comes to the same conclusion, that you just don't want this tragedy to happen again. Okay, something completely different, however, is that Adirondack Theater Festival is opening the next play, The Boy in the Bathroom. Now, every season, Adirondack Theater Festival tackles one play that really does send a different kind of message, and this is the one. This one is really very interesting, and guess what? We're going to have some tickets. So, it's a limited run, by the way. It opens tomorrow night through the 29th, and then the following week, August 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So we don't have a lot of time on this one. But please, if you're interested in tickets, like and share our post on Facebook. We'll capture your name, contact you, and give you the information on the tickets, okay? Let me try that again. Like and share our post on Facebook. We'll be able to capture your name. We'll select a winner. We will contact you and give you information on how to get the tickets. Adirondack Theater Festival is an amazing theater company right here in Glens Falls. All right, tonight on Look TV, Saratoga City Council meeting. Don't forget, tune in tomorrow night for the stories that matter to you. Good night, everyone.